Hello everybody and welcome to our first ever Trader Chat. I'm very excited to be doing these webinars again. One of my favorite parts of developing Sentient Trader, which is a process that you will know took many years. One of my favorite parts of that process was engaging with the people who were beta testing the software, and we held weekly or fortnightly webinars in which we discussed software and discussed the markets, and it was a really wonderful and a very rewarding part of developing the software. So I'm very excited to be reintroducing them. We've always planned to reintroduce them. We needed to get lots of things sorted out from our side before we were ready to start doing it again. And so here we are at our first ever Trader Chat, 17th of August. And the plan for the Trader Chat series is for users of Sentient Trader to all get together, talk about the markets. I'm going to use the opportunity to present some of my ideas about where I think the markets are going. I invite all of you current Sentient Trader users to also provide your views. Let me know where you have an analysis that you think differs or is interesting or is questionable. We'll talk about that. It's also particularly for newcomers to Sentient Trader to give them an opportunity to ask questions about Sentient Trader, about how it works, about what it is, and to engage with people who are currently using Sentient Trader. We have a large group of successful Sentient Traders, and so we thought it would be a great opportunity to get everybody together in one room, as it were, every week, and just shoot the breeze, talk about the markets, talk about Sentient Trader. First of all, I need to keep our lawyers happy, as always. And that involves going through a disclaimer. So if you'll bear with me while I run through the disclaimer to make sure that everybody understands it. The first thing you should be aware of is that all trading involves risk. Please be aware of and accept this risk before doing any trading. Never trade with money you cannot afford to lose. And you should know that past performance of any trading methodology is no guarantee of future results. And I'm not making any representation in this webinar that any account will achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed, and all results should be considered hypothetical unless otherwise specified. And you should be aware that hypothetical performance results have many inherent limitations, and unlike an actual report, they do not represent actual trading. Now, if you have any questions about this disclaimer, then please email it to us or put it in the chat window, and I'd be happy to talk a little more about the difference in hypothetical performance and actual trading performance. As this is our webinar, I'd just like to how to use NetViewer, the program that we use for our webinars. We chose NetViewer because it is a very interactive program. Unlike many webinar presentation programs, NetViewer allows a very large degree of interaction amongst all the participants. So you don't all need to sit there listening to me drone on about things. You're very welcome to get involved in the discussion. Up to 6 people can in fact speak at one time. I can enable microphones on up to 6 people. We found that's not a very good idea because there is quite a big audio delay. And so when we use, because we're operating all over the world, we have people from Australia and Europe and Hong Kong and all over the place. Actually, using your microphone tends to be a bit unsatisfactory, and there's a delay in the audio, and it's not a great process. So the preferred message for asking questions or making any comments is definitely to use the chat window. But if you particularly would like to speak, then I'm very happy to try it. If you'd like to speak, you should right-click with your mouse. A speech bubble will appear on my window and possibly everybody else's. Because people often tend to do that by mistake, I tend to ignore it, unless you also pop a message into the chat window saying, please let me speak, in which case I will enable your microphone. If I did it every time somebody right-clicked by mistake, we'd spend half the webinar trying to enable and turn off microphones. Also, please be aware that a left click of your mouse in the NetViewer window displays a pointer with your name attached to it, which everybody else sees. If you're busy talking and you want to point to something, then it's very useful, but it is very distracting if you're not actually busy talking. So please try to avoid left clicking in the window. I know that often people do to clear their screensavers. If you can avoid doing that, that would be great. We are to announce our first time offer. We have discovered that some people like to take some time really getting to know Sentient Trader. Other people see Sentient Trader and they know immediately that it's what they want and it's what they need. So as a result, we've introduced the first time offer, which means that we give you a very generous 20% discount off the purchase price of the software, and we're going to be doing that during the course of the webinar. If you would like to take the first time offer, you have 24 hours in which to take up the offer. Please send Paul Johnson, he's one of our attendees at the webinar, please send him a private message, which means you must select his name in the chat window, and he will send you a discount information about taking advantage of the offer. The other thing we're very excited to announce is that the Sentient Trader workshops are coming back. We have had a period of about 6 months where we have not been running the workshops because we've been very busy doing many other things to do with the software and developing the various strands of the Sentient Trading family. So we're very excited to announce that we are starting the workshops up again. There has been a lot of interest, and we've received lots of emails from people saying, please let me know when you're doing another workshop. Sentient Trader is a very powerful software, but you must learn how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, then you could endanger your financial future doing. The 3-day intensive workshops are huge fun. They're a lot of work. You learn a lot in the workshop, but they really are a lot of fun. And they beat connecting online as we do during the webinars, because meeting each other face to face is really so much more useful and powerful. We plan to hold workshops in Europe, Australia, and the United States. If you're somewhere else and you'd be interested in having a workshop, let us know. We might be able to find other users in your area who'd like to attend. If you'd like more information, or if you'd like to book a place in a workshop, then please send us an email. So let's sort of kick things off and get back to our first chat. I see some chat messages. Let me see if there are any questions there. I see in the chat window there's no screen being transmitted. Is that resolved? Is everybody else seeing the screen? Certainly my monitor window indicates that things are okay. We've got some people who aren't seeing the screen. Okay. It seems to be a sort of a mixed, a completely mixed response. I wonder. Let me pause my broadcast and send it again. See if that helped. Okay, let me just bring up Sentient Trader and let's see if we've managed to resolve that screen thing. I see one yes there. I see several other people saying they are seeing the screen. Wayne is still not seeing it, and Stuart is still not seeing it. Let me see if okay, according to the NetViewer software, most are managing to connect properly. Let me try something else. Let me turn on my widescreen. See if that, because that sometimes jolts it a little bit. Let's see. Is anybody seeing that? See the screen? Yes, Wayne. You can exit NetViewer. It might be what you need to do if you're not seeing. It seems at least half our contestants are seeing things properly. So I think what we're going to have to do is move on. If you're not seeing an update to the screen, then log off and please log back in again. I apologize about that. But unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do in terms of if some people are and some people aren't. Okay. Well, so let's get started. I know several people have disconnected and are going to be signing in again to restart their screens. It worked great. So Wayne is back, and that worked. A few other people have logged off, and so I'll slow down a little bit. Although I'm under a bit of time pressure, I need to get my things done fairly quickly. I've been told I have 20 minutes to talk about things, and then I must open the floor up and answer questions, which is obviously the best way of doing things. I am going to be speaking about the S&P 500 today. I have prepared a little bit of an analysis of the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is one of my favorite things to analyze. In the old days, before I had developed Sentient Trader, I was day trading US futures, and the S&P 500 was one of the US futures that I used to day trade, and I had a lot of fun doing it, and some success and some failure. But the S&P 500 has remained a strong favorite of mine. And during our beta testing days, I developed a bit of a theme of talking about the S&P 500 week after week, and we followed the analysis that the software, which was of course still being developed in those days, was performing on the S&P 500. And there are some interesting things that I would really like to talk about. I prepared a few charts. You can see that I have a workspace open in Sentient Trader. I in fact have 3 charts within this workspace, which is how I recommend working with Sentient Trader. If you are going to be doing several alternate analyses upon a single instrument, I would recommend creating separate charts within a single workspace, and then you can easily switch between them and compare them, and of course view them all on the screen at the same time. This is what I would call my preferred analysis. This is the analysis that I think is playing out. Let me just show you some of the highlights of that analysis. The sort of main highlight is that in March of 2009 there was a very prominent trough, which was, I believe, a trough of the 18-month cycle. You'll notice I've done an interesting thing with this analysis, and that is that I've set the analysis period in a slightly unusual place, and I'm going to explain to you in a moment why I've done that. But let's zoom in and see what this analysis is saying. Of course, Trader presents the analysis at the bottom of the chart. These diamonds. If you don't know about that, then let us know in the chat window, and I'll explain more detail or less detail as we go. I'm going to assume that you all have some understanding of what Sentient Trader does. Let me turn on the phasing analysis presented with semicircles, which makes it much easier to visualize the phasing analysis that is presenting. The important point about the analysis is that there is an 18-month trough which occurred in March of 2009. If I zoom in post the March 2009 period, and I think most, I should say many, if not most, of Hurst analysts, I should say, agree that March 2009 was at least an 18-month trough, if not a trough of a much longer cycle. The software, as you can see, has positioned an 18-month trough over here in July of 2010, and it has then presented a 40-week trough on the 15th of March this year, 2011. In April of this year, sort of roughly where my mouse is at the moment, I published an ST Outlook in which I said that I suspect there might be a straddled 40-week trough developing. A straddled 40-week trough means